Umentri rang ba kejela ulong ba kejela Meghalaya kedai ke riewspah bha hakaliang penmi bording Henry kempala ban pendenkam ya kani kespa ke banlong ke jeng mentoi na ke benta ke roi kepar haba jubab ha ke jing kren menta ke singi halor kepang balawan ra 2 mli ke UDP ba po lingdo ha ke singi kut jo kadar bartelang u Dr Mukul ulong ba ke jing dan ke spa mariang kalong kumuso bersukhet bat kadan kalat ke babiang bha ba kejela kala bandi ya ke bording Syabari kumsyari Bangladesh ulong ba sarkar jela kala pendam no ya ke jingete bat ki kattu kat ni ki company baladep yasoi banshna ya ke project bording hadim belalap ba kimsim lakit khia ban ya chakmat ya ki kam kumbala yakun kawai nakini ki company kadai ke JP group ke baladep yasoi house nam arjar pra Henry kala dapram menta bat halor kani ke sarkar kala pendam no ya ke jingete bat kani ke company wan IT syakibai pat ki bakhambiang shwa ya kani habawan ra ya kaman ba pol lingdo ulong ba kalong ke basngau pla ba watla ke jela Meghalaya kedai ke riewspah hakaban penmi bording bala pentri kambha yake hydel project ke jela kala banyok bording hadu kemba sanspa megawatt handai ke tanat penmi bording pat kedai ke baduk bat ke beladap da karam la theru ya ke jingbom timbet ke tanat MSL namar ba ya kalachka hydro power project kebalamang riewspah klur Henry kala kiu shadu riewspah klur bat kani kapau ya kejing artetien ya kejing la jangka bentrikam.
This is a sorry state of affairs considering that the state government in the recent past, right from 2007 and then again in 2010 2011 onwards has inked several MOUs with private players. For reasons that are best known to the government, the implementation and execution of these projects, 14 with private players, have not gone very well. In fact, it is very abysmal. The projects that have been signed with private players have not even crossed 10% of progress. In some cases, even the DPRs are not ready. In some cases, even the ground work and survey has not been done. This is indeed a matter of great concern. I believe the Chief Minister has touched upon this subject in the course of discussion yesterday. But I would like to specifically confine this discussion to the MOUs that have been signed with the private players and to make a mention that some of these players, for instance, this JP group, which has been awarded the Umngat Hydel project, itself has gone bankrupt and is in no position to execute this project. We would like to know, as members of this august House, as to the way ahead after the government has terminated some of the MOUs, number one. Two, I would also like to know, as well as other members of this august House, would like to know as to the fate of the MOUs that have not been scrapped. And three, which is most important, we would like to know as to what the government intends to do with the projects that have not taken off, but which are yet to be scrapped. Sir, going by records, it is very clear that very little has happened on the ground. And it is strange that almost a decade has passed and even the DPRs are not yet ready. Now, if we do not depend, if we find the private players not dependable, the other option is to look at government agencies and government-owned corporations. But when you look at the execution of Riewspah project, we find that even the project cost has gone up from the original 300 plus crores and has crossed 1200 crores. And yet the project is still crippled with a lot of inherent weaknesses, including failures of engineering. We could recall that in this recent past, within the last 3 years or so, this House has even discussed about the bursting of the dam, damage to materials, damage to the walls, all of which pinpoint to faulty engineering. Now, when we look at the list of the projects undertaken by private developers, these projects have not only gone under the snail's pace, but it is very clear that these private developers lack interest and ability to execute the projects. This is therefore denying the state of its huge potential in the power sector.
And support the motion moved by the...
It's not a motion, it is a short duration
short motion, sir.
discussion.
Moved by the honorable member from Jayao, Sri Polundo, regarding that this how to now discuss the object failure of the state government in power sector with special reference to the MOU signed with private players. Sir, why I am support the short duration motion moved by the honorable member? Because I have experience in my place in West Khasi Hills, sir. We have so many MOU signed between the government, many government since 2003, sir. But till now, especially, sir, the Kinsi Hydel project, which has, if the government can implement, it will generate nearly 1,000 megawatts, sir. Sir, I request the government of the day to examine this MOU between the private partner that had already signed, that the Kinsi project should be at any cost should be materialized. Sir, there are also many projects in West Khasi Hill, many rivers, sir. I cannot mention here. Many MOU had been signed with the private members, sir. I have not yet seen till now, sir, the light of the day.
Certain aspects of this
issue, the issue of these projects which were expected to be developed and commissioned and benefit the state yesterday. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Member from Shillong West, Paul Lingdo, has specifically wanted to also have a complete clarity on the stand of the government and the further course of action in relation to the projects which have been just recently decided to be scrapped with the decision of the Cabinet. And also the fate of these projects after having the MOU scrapped. And also in relation to the projects which have been taken up to be developed by the private players and where the projects are yet to show progress in respect of development and commissioning. And also refer to projects which can be taken up and developed. The Honourable Member from Nongstoin has indicated his concern about few projects which were to be developed in West Khasis region, particularly the Kinsi Basin. And Honourable Member from Nongtamai has also expressed his concern about all these projects which have been projects which were taken up to be developed with the investment coming from the private developers, based on the mandate of the Electricity Act 2003 and the state power policy thereof. We have seen in the past, in spite of having this huge potentiality to develop these projects, we were not able to tap these resources to generate power for the growth and prosperity of the state, because power is the most crucial component in the whole growth process of a state and the ultimate prosperity of the people. It's an engine of growth. Without power, nothing can happen. Gone are those days when people remain contented even when they had to remain in the villages without power. Remember, people depended on the lamp. And people never complained then. But then things have changed. Our way of life has changed. The challenges associated in livelihood-related issues, everything now depends and revolves around this crucial sector of growth, that is power. Now, based on this understanding only, Government of India also further enacted a new act replacing the earlier Act, Electricity Act 2003, in order to infuse investment from the private sector, since power sector requires huge investment and our own public sector, the earlier state electricity boards of every state, could not actually take advantage of these available potentialities for developed power projects, and obviously because of the huge investment associated. And that was the reason that, like other developed nations, India should also open up an avenue, a window for private developers, because money is there in the private sector, and to attract investment and bring in competition and benefit the consumers. Now, based on this expectation, as per the mandate of the law, we did complete the whole exercise for adopting the power policy and went on to rope in these power project developers by the private sectors. I would like to first indicate in nutshell the status of few of the projects which probably many of us are already aware of. Umduna hydroelectricity project to generation capacity of 57 megawatt, for which MOA was signed in the month of June 2008. They completed the survey and investigation, and the preparation of DPR was in progress. Now, this is the project which also is one of the projects where MOA has been cancelled recently. Then another one where the government decided to cancel the MOAs, Umzot hydroelectricity project with a generation capacity of 69 megawatts. for which survey and investigations work was completed and DPR was almost in a completion stage. But subsequent to this, in spite of this preliminary investment and progress, these developers seem to have somehow stopped further progress. And therefore, in order to ensure that the project do show its expected progress, the department has taken up these issues with the concerned developer. But in the meantime, a response was not coming. And therefore, there was exercise from the side of the department to understand whether they are really going to further proceed with the development of the project or not. And then, in view of their being non-responsive, all the necessary procedures were adopted by the department to inform them, to give them ultimatum, and ultimately brought to the notice of the government to indicate that there is no response at all whatsoever from these developers, and therefore whether the government should take a decision to cancel the MOA. And then this decision was taken. Then in respect of these thermal plants, same problem was confronted by, because though initially survey and investigation for coal mining area was taken up by these developers, one is GC Power Private Limited Hyderabad, and one is that MS Bridge Raj Power Metallics Limited Shillong. There was no more indication of interest. Maybe it is also linked with our ban on coal mining, ban on illegal coal mining through our honorable NGT. So this also was decided to be scrapped. Now, in as far as the hydro projects are concerned, datas are available. This becomes a property of the government. And based on this, we will have to look at that these resources are utilized for the purpose of the benefit of the state, and a decision will be taken in this regard, whether this project should be developed by our own government entities or to be handed over to other government entities or otherwise. So this due diligence will be done in a reasonable period of time, and a decision to this effect will be taken. But in as far as the scrap projects pertaining to the thermal, coal-based thermal power projects are concerned, those two, because these were basically on a self-identified project kind of thing, based on their own due diligence about the potentiality of thermal power project to be established in these indicated areas. So this obviously will depend on if there is any more private investors looking at these areas as a potential areas for investment for developing thermal power project. Kansi stage hydroelectricity project stage 1. The DPR is completed and TEC is accorded by the Central Electricity Authority, and land acquisition for the project is under process. Though they have taken long time because of the challenges associated and the preliminary investigation and other things, and it is associated in fact with the problem along the whole basin, Kansi. As you are aware that this particular basin has both stage 1 and stage 2. Now stage 1 and stage 2 are linked in respect of the various survey and investigation and the subsequent preparation of DPR. And this is again linked to stage 2 project, which is with a generation capacity of 335, where survey and investigations are in advanced stage, but there were some problem in relation to the concern, and then the representation given by the Department of Atomic Energy and the UCIL.